Hello, hello. Go grab your yoga mat, yoga blocks possibly, and a yoga strap, and we'll get started with our evening hatha. This is yoga for all bodies. Hatha, we move through stretches and asanas with a focus on our breath. So we move a little bit slower than in a vinyasa class, and today we're gonna use the strap if you have one. If not, you could always use a belt. You could also just kind of adapt, use your body as normal. And then we'll get going while I get my hair all situated and I'll get the screen situated. So some things going on. We have 420 tomorrow. We have National Cold Brew Coffee Day. We have the other 420 tomorrow. And we also have an eclipse in Aries and Libra. So we had this like dynamic full moon. We had a pink moon a bit ago, which is a Libra moon. And for the pink moon, some people relate it to the coming of spring. With Libra and Aries, that's a bit of, they're like complete opposites. Like Libra, we like people, social, or indecisive, into being with groups, versus Aries can be fiery and moves and grooves to their own kind of rhythm, gets things done, logical, has, will kind of be a lone wolf kind of deal. So we have these like opposites kind of intertwining, and then you have all the moons and all the other things around it and planets around it. And so depending on what your sun sign is or whatnot, you might be feeling kind of the energies. I talk to people and around certain solar eclipses and things, or certain full moons, they always say, oh, people act funny, it's a full moon, or, it's chaotic a bit, while the people kind of battle through these energies and kind of figure out just breathing and how to get through them. I have chosen that the best practice for myself is to find peace, to take time away from self or away from others and rest and come in closer to self. And when things feel a little spazzy, not to do things that are going to mess with that. So for me, that's not going out in like a late night club scene, or not drinking and things like that, so that I can kind of just be and wallow in the vibe of any of the energies, depending on what it is. But especially with Aries and Libra, that's a kind of a special attunement for myself. And this battle of balance and things that I find myself with, of always balancing as a Libra, the logic to the spiritual or the unexplainable, the being with group and being a part of something versus having to go alone in a journey. So it's kind of a good time for me to just kind of sit back and meditate. So that is what's going on there. Let me fix this just a little bit. So hopefully now you have your yoga mat, your yoga strap if you are choosing to use one, and you can have blocks for this practice. And we're going to be a bit of more of a restorative practice, or kind of a mix. So because we're really going to slow down the breath and just feel ourselves in these asanas and postures, and welcome ourselves to the present moment and experience that we find ourselves in. So much gratitude for you allowing me into your space and being here with me. Let's go ahead and get started. I always say that you don't have to follow along with everything that I'm doing. If something feels good and you want to stay in that position or pose longer, feel free to do so. If your body is requesting that, if something is feeling more like a strain or to the point of discomfort where it's like, oh, that might not go so well, then feel free to take yourself out of that pose or position. But otherwise, there might be a little discomfort in some poses and positions. That's not a terrible thing. It is the body stretching, opening, adapting. Breathe through it. Allow the muscles to calm. And you don't have to worry about watching the picture. I'm just here to guide the flow. So if you are someone who watches the picture or has to watch the picture for reason, then thank you for that. If not, do what you got to do. You could also just follow along with my voice, or if you have captions on, and not have to worry about the picture if you don't have to do so that you can, either way, you can allow yourself, even if you're peeking up at the photo, to allow your body to relax back into that space. And after a few breaths, maybe you peek up and see what I'm doing, if you decide you need to watch the picture, or you just follow along with the words, so that you can really get into your body. when I'm watching a flow and I'm not listening to it, I'm just following along with the pictures. Like flows in other languages, like if I don't understand it, I'll turn myself so that my peripheral can see when that person moves, so then I'm signaled to also then move and release out of a pose or position. So that's a little nice cheat you could do where it's almost like you're flowing sideways or backwards to the flow so that you can watch it. There you go. We're gonna go ahead and start in Sukhasana, easy seated or crossed legs pose. Allow your hands to rest softly, palms facing up on the thighs or the insides right near the knee pit. And start to lengthen through the spine, the shoulders away from the ears so that they find a relaxed place. The tail is connected to floor. You can kind of, move the skin there a bit to really settle in deep for some grounding. And welcome yourself to breath. Inhaling, exhaling. Maybe you close the eyes or find a hazy gaze. Breathing in and out. If you need it, finding some cleansing breaths or ujjayi breath, where it's you're inhaling deeply through the nose and letting it all go through the mouth. So take those at any time that your body is asking to let go of whatever needs to be let go. Which is also part of that eclipse, kind of letting go of, different relationships or workships or habits and patterns or things you can't see that are maybe coming in, and just releasing them and allowing a new chapter or a new phase or whatever the newness of that's going to take that place for something that will assist you on the next part of your journey to come in. For me, it's just releasing, and it's, my journey's been asking for me to let go. I always get this kind of mid-month kind of rupture in my mind, and it's letting that go and just kind of, relaxing into the rest, the second half of the month. So find the breath. Maybe you take another 2 or 3 breaths. And when ready, we'll start to release. We're going to release with one leg extending out to side, foot coming in to near the groin or inner thigh of that extended leg. Adjust as you need the body. Then allow the hand that's same side as extended leg to come inside that leg. We're going to then extend and lengthen the opposite arm up and overhead for a side stretch. Things you may want to focus on while you're here and breathing is if you're keeping the side stretch and this side wants to get heavy and fall closer to that extended leg, allow it to do so. You're gonna get further. That's your body saying, hey, we're more flexible. You could also focus on opening the heart, lifting that heart towards the ceiling and sky. The vision could follow the wiggles of the fingers above, or even a head tilt. And if that arm starts to feel heavy, you could always take it down and twist the body over, or you have that option because that's going to change the stretch there. So if you want to stay in that side stretch, you could keep that arm over and just allow it to get heavy, and you feel the whole body getting closer to that leg. That's where maybe a little bit of discomfort or newness can come in. Stay with it. Breathe. Find another breath. And then when ready, slowly release. Take anything you need. Maybe it's wiggles of fingers or wiggles of toes of the extended leg. And then we're gonna take all that to the opposite side. So adjust as your body may request. You may feel some sort of way on that now inside of the body, but we're gonna balance it out. So allow those toes to possibly flex towards ceiling and sky. You could even have that foot maybe against a wall. And then when you're ready, inside arm, maybe it latches onto that big toe even. Opposite arm up and above. For me, this side's always a little bit looser, that left inside, so my body automatically wants to lean down further in it. I just breathe, close my eyes, and let it happen. Do what you need for self. Adapt to the pose if you choose. And let it go. Still grounding that tail into the mat. Find a few more breaths here. And when ready, slow to release. Find those cleansing breaths. As we're breathing into our bodies, feeling new parts and pieces that are opening up, things that were maybe like, whoa, I didn't even know that could stretch. Just allow the body to feel it and breathe. We're gonna go ahead and leave that leg extended. You're gonna take the opposite leg and extend it out and see how the body feels here. And we're gonna welcome a forward fold. So while you're breathing, get adjusted. This is another one. You could take it against the wall where maybe you're facing the wall inside, and that allows your legs to move out more. You could focus on breathing, extending, getting deeper into the muscles. I run, so my quads, thighs, groin, all that gets so tight. They want to just go forward and back, not so much side to side. So it's always kind of a new experience depending. And Tuesdays are gym days, so a little rough the next day when I record and do these classes. So go ahead and take your time, find your breath, and maybe you just start with opening up through the lower body and kind of feeling how the thighs and quads and legs and such feel, the hips and belly. Take a deep breath, and then at your own pace and time, start to allow the body to forward fold. And here you maybe have a block that you allow the hands to kind of rest on as you forward fold. And then maybe that block moves with the arms as they lengthen, or maybe they stay there and the arms stay soft, but you still keep the shoulders away from the neck and you allow your head to forward fold. Then you have something to rest your head on. Or maybe then you have like pillows or blankets or things closer to your center. So support your body as you need. Breathe into your forward fold. We're going to be in this one for a little bit, maybe about 5 to 7 breaths. And just let it go. Breathe and release. Allow that upper body to continue to forward fold as it chooses. Can't remember if it was this class or my other one. I have my dear friend, my dear spider friend in the back with me, my daddy long legs. So actually they're not spiders, they're part of the scorpion family. So he takes care of all the little critters and things that come in through the window when it's open. It's a good roommate for me to have. Bang those last few breaths in your forward fold. Then when ready, being slow and steady, take your time, use the hands to support the body as you rise. Take a breath. and then we're gonna flop over to pigeon poses. So choose a side of a leg that you would like to stay kind of extended behind the body, and one that you're gonna welcome into close to the upper body, and gently start to move and flow out of your extended leg extension pose. And use your body, your hands to support you. So I gently start to bend my knees. I start to allow my left leg to stay behind me. As I start to curve and turn towards the right, my right foot is gonna come in nice and close to the upper body, finding this extension, and then option to take it low. Once again, options for your pose and flow. So if you're someone like me, you're still working with that tight lower body, just working with your body, taking your time, making any adjustments. Some people like to put a little pillow or something to support that lower body under their groin or in between the legs, and really feel where your hips are going. So in times of pigeon, we want to think about kind of taking that front leg, that hip back, and then the extended leg, allowing that to come forward. But just watch how you're maneuvering so that you're still allowing length to happen in the muscles or any tightness that you're feeling. Breathe through it. And you also have that option to assist if you would like. Use that strap. I know I posted this on in a reel that I recently did where it wasn't even so much the legs that were tight, but it was all up in the center. It felt very uncomfortable for me to just allow my body to flatten at center and get closer. So if you're working on splits, have splits. That might be something, loosening and allowing flexibility to kind of be a way or a journey with that part of the body. And if you'd like to, you have that strap that's going to help you too, because sometimes we think certain parts of the body are what's causing our tightness, and then we learn later that it's a completely different muscle, especially since all our muscles kind of are, intertwined and connected. We're like one giant muscle. So it could actually be something in your lower back, in your spine. It could be something in your hips or waist or going up the torso. It could be the quad or the thighs or calf or something else that then when you add something to that stretch, all of a sudden you're like, oh my Lord, like where'd that come from? And so that's with me. So typically when I'm in pigeon or going for a one-legged king pigeon, up here it's already kind of tight, but it feels all right. But then as soon as I go to add my extension, whether it's, I turn into this, now you're dealing with balance, now you're dealing with this stretch of going into the quads, and that's what kind of shoots up my body and is like, oh, good morning. So just being cautious of that, taking your time. Sometimes the lesser I feel it is when I bring my upper body back down and I just have that leg behind me kind of coming in closer, and it starts to really get deep in that leg that's extended or behind me and allows a stretch. And I just breathe through it once again, finding that breath, and then I come back up for that pigeon and it feels different and the body feels more open. But that's when it can really be nice to shoot away from the video, take that breath, inhale, exhale, play with the hips where they go, find your stillness, support with block or support with hands, support with what you need. You're also opening up through that opposite side. And then when you're ready, we'll take it to the opposite side. So gently release, use the support of your hands. Allow that leg to stay behind. You're gonna take the tail a little bit high, be gentle. You could even take pauses. The leg that was up front will go behind. Find the knees, and then you're gonna bring that back leg to the front. So being cautious, you might need to maneuver a bit. Breathe and settle in as you wish, as you breathe. And you may notice still one side may be more balanced than the other. One side may be more open or lower than the other. That's all right. And I am watching the time, but I think, yeah. Well, we'll see. The time. Oh, there we go. It goes so fast, so fast. 6 minutes, 20 more minutes. So we're gonna take our time. If If you have that strap, you could always grab that back again and start to focus on opening up. You could find those adaptations as you wish. Now remember, I'm feeling discomfort, but once again, I talk about straining. If you're feeling something where it's like to the point where it's telling you like, hey, this is not so great, like don't do that. Listen to your body, so just be cautious. There's the difference between breaking that barrier and getting through, and through the mind where the mental's stopping you versus the body is actually warning you. So it's learning those differences and then just staying with them. And you don't have to use the strap. You don't have to lift the leg. It's your practice. I like to push myself in my practices and kind of feel how things are as I push them down or I adjust or what have you. Or you could always just take the arm towards the back. But take your time. Breathe through it. Bent leg, you're going to get that stretch possibly in the glutes. You could close your eyes and envision your breath making its way down to that lower body and exhaling any of that tightness, any of that tension, any of that discomfort away and release. And then when ready, once again, we'll go ahead. Use your hands to support. Slowly, gently allow that front leg to make its way towards the back. You're going to find knees under hips or knees mat width apart, and welcome Balasana, Balasana Child's Pose. So Balasana Child's Pose, and if you're interested in learning more of the Sanskrit names, you can always join Sunday on Instagram Live at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. I do a focus of it's a vinyasa practice, and we pull some cards that have some Sanskrit names on them for the yoga. And we incorporate them into that practice while we practice the pronunciations of the words. So like the pigeon, I know I've pulled that before. I think it was like the, what is it? Eka, Pado, Kanasana, or something. So we'll go again because sometimes my brain flips things. So it could be Pado Eka or Eko Pado. But just things like that, a little fun in the practice. Go ahead and find that Balasana, breathing, your forehead maybe connecting to the ground, your tail over the heels. Take another breath. And then when ready, you'll release out of your Balasana. If your knees were mat width apart, your knees and your toes were touching behind you, we're gonna go in for a superhero pose. So you have that option to stay where you are on your mat or slowly come forward if you need a little bit more space. You have different options for superhero pose. If you went mat width apart, you could then allow the feet and legs to release out the side. You also have that option of if your knees stayed underneath the hips, you could just allow your tail to fall over the heels and you start to take the arms back, arms back, arms back, arms back, and go into that variation of superhero pose. Or you have that option to just drop that tail in between. Get nice and cozy. It's interesting to see how the body can open up in one way and not in another. Very interesting, the things we do in life. So for me, my upper body's a little bit more flexible than the lower. So take your time, and then once again, you're just gonna allow your head and your back to fall back, but being in support of the body, maybe you have your hands behind you, and then you come down onto forearms. See how that feels? It's gonna stretch the whole front of the body, and then you'll just continue to allow yourself to eventually make your way down to mat. And here you wanna see, is the back, is that feeling tensed up? Is your belly rounding, or is it allowing it to go flat? Now, if you have some buns in your, what do they call it, junk in your trunk, then you might feel like me. Your lower back may not hit naturally the mat. It may have a little indent, a little roundness. That's all right. Don't force it, because you don't do the thing that's not going to be great for you. So take your time, but it's really where the shoulders are. Are the shoulders and the chest, where are they? How do they feel in your superhero pose? Can you extend and lengthen the arms away and get a nice stretch? Do your feet feel flat and comfortable? Your shins, all that good stuff. And then breathe. When ready, gently release. Now, option to rise up, that's going to use that core power, or use the support of your hands or the forearms, elbows, making your way up. Watch the blood back to body that's going to rush from your head. And to safely come out, we're going to take the hands forward, slowly rise. We're going to take the feet to one side and allow them to come out in front of body. Staying low this evening, Hatha. Hanging out with my Scorpio. That's his name now. Named the spider, since he's really related to the scorpion family and not really the spider family. That's what the internet told me, so that's what I'm going with. And his name's Scorpio. Or what was the one from Mortal Kombat? That was Scorpion, but yeah. He's gonna be Scorpio. He always wakes up and comes out and likes to see what I'm doing. I'm assuming it's a he because it hasn't laid any baby eggs. So we'll go ahead and allow the feet to be extended out. If you have that strap, go ahead and grab that. We're gonna do a forward fold assisted with the strap. And depending where you'd like to take your focus, you could have a little bend in the knees, you could bend and then unbend one knee. You could focus on the legs and extending and feeling those muscles flex. Or you have that option, of course, to think about extending and lengthening through the upper body, breathing. Going back to that, our body's one big muscle. As you're forward folding, you might start to feel the backs of your legs and spine stretching, lengthening also. So you might feel that from head to toe almost. So just work with your body. Inhale, exhale, take what you need and breathe. We'll be here another extended hold, so about 5 to 7 breaths. Working with the strap. If you don't have strap, that's all right. You can have the hands at sides, over toes, shins. Lengthen and extend. So we are making sure we're stretching our sides, we're stretching our front, our back. Welcome balance and equilibrium to the body. But just let it happen. Some days may allow you to get further than other days. Sometimes it's just the awareness of welcoming yourself to the present moment and connecting with breath, forgetting about what's already been done, and not jumping into the future. Breathe, let it go. Find those last couple of breaths in your forward fold. Take a big ujjayi cleansing breath. And then you'll slowly start to rise. If you have that strap, you may start to loosen from the strap. Once again, being cautious of the blood rush from the head to the body. And then if you have the strap, we're gonna welcome it to wrap around one foot and allow the other foot to be loose. We're going to then allow a little back balance. So on the 5th floor, you get so many amazing things outside the window. We're gonna go ahead and take your time. You'll start to lift and raise one leg while you balance and support with the other. Option to twist and turn if you choose, or if you're not using strap, you'll just start to lift and you could use the hand underneath, extend and lengthen. You could even go for the toe and extend and lengthen. and then bring it back. Take it to the opposite side now. So either you're switching the strap on to the other foot, or you're grabbing onto that big toe, lifting, extending, lengthening. Option to hold here, option to twist. And go ahead, gently release. Go ahead and allow that same leg that you just extended to come in close to the chest. Give it a nice hug. Then cross it over the opposite leg. And spinal twist. Then go ahead, release that first leg that extended, bring it in close, give it a hug, and spinal twist. And release. Gonna allow both feet to come together. We're gonna find a seated Baddha Konasana. So bottoms of feet, make that nice little diamond with the lower body. Hands can just kind of rest, mimicking the diamond, or you could take the hands to a nice little foot massage. It's up to you. You could find a forward fold, or you could just keep the body tall and lengthen and breathe. Take your time finding your last breath, and when you're ready to release, you're gonna gently, if you forward folded, you'll gently rise. That crown will make its way back to ceiling and sky. We're gonna gently allow the knees to come to center, and then we're gonna find some windshield wipers. So just to kind of release any tightness or tension that you may find in the body. Then you'll gently allow the knees to return to center. Use your hands to support you, and you'll start to make your way into your preferred Shavasana or pose or asana for your moment for peace. So that could be going back into where we started with a Sukhasana, easy seated pose. Or it could be slowly making your way down to Shavasana, corpse pose. If you choose to do Shavasana, corpse pose, you always have that option as you're making your way back for the knees to follow and close to chest, and kind of take a little side to side or take a little rounding of knees in either direction to get a little back massage, a little spinal massage after all that stretching of the spine. Take some deep breaths. And we're gonna move into our moment for meditation. I'm gonna do extended meditation, allowing self to really welcome an overwhelming sense of peace and calm over the body. So take those last stretches, take any of those last wiggles, last deep releases. And then allow yourself to get cozy, to maybe find those closed eyes once again. Start to welcome stillness to the body. Releasing, letting go. Doing what you need to do for self in this time and moment. Allowing your body to just be your body and just be, not worrying about anything outside of the now. And focusing on just breathing. letting go, releasing. If you chose Sukhasana, you may find a pillow or blanket to put underneath the tail to allow the hips a little lift above the feet. You may still find that lengthening in the spine, but it be not as extensive, but just a subtle lift. And whether you're doing this practice on your own or with a partner, or just counting this as a group with me, being welcomed into your space, thank yourself and be grateful and proud that you've allowed this time for yourself. Whether it just be listening along or doing the moves or just stepping away from whatever the day has brought or whatever has brought you here. Maybe offering a little smile to self, a little ujjayi, a little deep cleansing breath, and rest for the mind. Notice if you're sitting, are you leaning a little bit more back? Or if you're leaning a little bit more forward or to a side? Start to welcome this centering so that you really sit down deeper in your tail grounding and your spine, your crown aligns. If you're lying, check in with your body with every breath. Really release the tension and tightness from the jaw, the shoulders, the back. The shoulders and back soften, resting on the mat. The tail, the feet, maybe turn outwards. The hands go where they feel supportive to the body and relaxed. How do the hips, the thighs feel? Soften those, allow those muscles to relax and open. In times of us feeling that we want to tense up and tighten and crunch and grit, should be the times when we really allow the body to soften, to relax. I heard somewhere when people, if you're falling towards water or diving into water, that, you know, if you're a professional diver, obviously you have your ways about you, but if you're just someone kind of jumping for the pool, they say people tend to tense up, and they should really, you know, maybe have that dive position, but not get tensed up, but actually relax and just allow the feet and whatnot to flow into the water, and that it doesn't, they don't feel this like shock or pain. But our brains, wanting to protect, tend to tense up, ready for battle. But when the battle is invisible, it could really just be loosening up, releasing, letting go. The fear dissipates, the sadness, the upset disappears. Feeling those emotions or feelings and just breathing them away. Go ahead and start to welcome some gentle movement in your body if you haven't done so already. Maybe soft wiggles of limbs or gentle movements of hips or the head or neck, moving side to side, very slow and soft. Take any releasing, cleansing breaths. And gently, with the eyes closed, start to make your way to a seated position if you're not there already. If you're in your seated position, go ahead and welcome yourself to consciousness, back to this present space, but still allow the eyes to remain closed. Allow a gentle smile upon the face, and when you make your way to your seated position, allow awareness in the arms and hands, and allow the palms or inside of the hands and fingertips to gently cover the eyes. Now, if the fingers are pressing against the eyelids, go ahead and allow the fingers to round about the eyes, but to the point where the eyelids can slowly start to open, nice and slow and soft. And then allow the sides of the pinkies to connect and allow your vision to look at the fingertips or the insides of the hands as the hands slowly start to move away from face. Gently welcoming yourself back to your atmosphere and space and environment. We'll bring the palms together, thumbs come to heart, Anjali Mudra, prayer mudra. Thank you for joining me for this evening Hatha practice. May this flow ease you into the rest of your day with light, peace, smiles, and love. Namaste. So take anything else that you need. If you have more extended time, and you prefer to stay in your Shavasana as long as you'd like, feel free to do such. Otherwise, thank you for joining me. This class is pretty much Wednesdays live on the good old YouTube at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. We get a little movement, a little meditation, just a moment for peace, a moment to come back to body and self. Thanks for hanging out with me and Scorpio. My little spider buddy here who protects me from all the little critters that get in through the window. Since I'm on an upper floor, I'm waiting for the day for that messenger of bird to fly into my space. But appreciate y'all being here. As I mentioned, we practice more of the Sanskrit names and such on Sundays, so you can join me on YouTube Live, this is YouTube Live, Instagram Live for that at 6 p.m. Eastern, or you can always catch a replay. So that is there for you. Thanks, and I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go eat. So I'll talk to you later.